Black history. I'm a young African American. We got a black president. I'm screaming, yes, we can. But anyways, back to the matter at hand. This is my take on how black history began. Somebody said, you should be lucky we're here. I'm like, lucky? I'm blessed. My people struggle, that's why we here. Black and I'm proud. You don't understand, that's why we cheer. But let me cool down because I'm getting all riled up. I'm a young African American. How do you want your black history to begin? Do you want a month or do you want a year? Is that too blunt? Do I make myself clear? Black history. Thank everyone. My name is Michael Kemp and I'm 22 years old. Well, I was charged as an adult in 2007 and I was brought to the DC jail. And they didn't have any school, no type of educational programs or anything. So I was over the jail for 10 months. But within that 10 months, I needed to get off the unit, you know, and get out of my cell because I didn't, it's real difficult being on solitary confinement or just in a cell all day. So I heard about Free Minds, which used to come over to jail every Friday and bring books and just had the guys in there as like a book club. So one Friday I happened to go up there. And when I went, they asked me, did I write poetry or do I like reading? And I was like, I do not like reading. It's not that I couldn't read, I just wasn't interested in it at the moment. But they also asked me, do I like to write poetry or do I know how to write poetry? And I'm like, man, I don't know how to write poetry and I'm not interested. They were like, man, they don't have to rhyme, just write down how you feel on a piece of paper, you know? The poetry part is what really brought me in because it gave me a way to express myself. And, you know, being incarcerated, there's so much negativity around you. So being able to express myself and get things off my chest really helped me during the time of incarceration. And also just them bringing books and not forcing books on you. They ask you what type of books do you want to read, and they tailor the books to your interests. Like if I wanted to do real estate, they brought me books on real estate. If I wanted to read plays, they brought me books on plays. If you had a kid that's tall, the parent automatically assumes my child is going to be a basketball player. But they don't do that. They like, what you want to read, we're going to bring you what you want. And then you gradually bring you other type of books so you're going to just be more diverse with your reading, you know? So I just started reading all different type of books and that's what got me hooked.
So I think when we first met Michael, he was very, as he likes to say, straight raw. Like he was very, you know, he wasn't this model kid. I mean, he'll tell you, he got in a lot of trouble. I mean, he's a big troublemaker. The conditions where we originally met are extremely depressing, totally harsh. I mean, they're the jail where teenage boys are facing serious time and others have done serious crimes. And so it's all of that negative energy is there.
People always say, man, don't keep your emotions all bottled up. So it was just like, that's where all my emotions was coming from. Being able to express myself through the pen, you know, getting it all out of me. It's a unique way to tell somebody something and it's going to grab their attention and make them listen to you. Because I can tell you something all day and you probably wouldn't listen. But if I put it in the word of poetry, you probably going to sit down and, man, see what I got to say.
Like presto, they're a poet, they have a voice, they believe in themselves. I'm telling you, it's so attainable, accessible, easy, but powerful.
And this statue behind me is a Ukrainian poet. Because I was sitting right here one day before I was going to work on Ukraine Independence Day. And a Ukrainian poet walked up to me. So she read me a poem in Ukrainian language and in English. And she let me know a little about this poet. And this poet was like a freedom fighter. This poet was using his voice and his poetry to talk about freedom. And behind that statue is one of his poems about freedom, you know? And it's just crazy because how life just brought me here to the statue about a poet who talks about freedom, you know? And how I came from a system where I was introduced to poetry when I didn't have my freedom physically. I had my freedom mentally, you know, and poetry helped me venture out to gain freedom through poetry.
My greatest hope is that everyone recognizes the power of poetry and accesses it and see that they do have a future, that you can write your way to a new future. And it's not just writing, so writing for themselves, but connecting to a network of support that's absolutely critical. My greatest fear is that it won't catch on, that it will, that it's people will just diminish it as like, oh yeah, poetry. Yeah, sure. Give them a pen and paper. But what are the real problems out there? And let's focus on the real problem, which they are out there. But what we at Free Minds believe, it starts with the self, for that internal journey, that pen, that paper, you, your thoughts. Then that second step is that pen, that paper, sharing that paper. Then the third step, which Michael is leading us on in our journey as an organization, is sharing it to the whole wide community. And then we can do systemic change. But if they don't know what these kids are going through their own words, nobody's going to change anything.
Like I heard a poem by the lady Maya Angelou. I understand why a caged bird sings, you know. To be in that cage is like I understood why a caged bird can sing, you know, or why they still sing even though they was placed into a place of confinement. I had so much to get off my chest while I was in there. It was like I was caged physically, but my mind was open. I still had so much inside of me that I had to release. And being able to release that on paper, it's like, I say, I leak pain upon the pad, you know, and it's like, this pain, I write until there's no more ink in there, you know? It's like I let the pain bleed all my pain out. And it was just being down in that place, and they try to hold you down, and it's like that place of confinement. I learned that even though I was confined, I still could be free. And even though I was caged, I still could sing. And that's what it is, I guess. I don't know if that answered the question, but that's where my mind went.